Well, hello. Welcome to this edition of the Whiskey Neighbor. It's a beautiful November day. Sure, there's snow around, but I decided I'd shoot quickly outside because of the beautiful sunshine. Today, I'm going to look at two great Canadian ryes. I'm sure you've heard of them. Crown Royal Northern Harvest and Lot 40. These will be my comparison or head-to-head thoughts. See you after the break. Okay, well, I've been either exploring a rye or specifically looking at a comparison between two ryes the last couple of weeks, and that's because there's a few local rye releases. I know Last Mountain has now released their cask strength, but just into Saskatchewan, and I don't have anyone buying me a bottle there yet, but I hope to. And then in a few days, we'll see Rig Hands Whisky, which will be a rye whiskey, and that's coming out in a couple of days. So what I have here are some just really great Canadian ryes. Whether you're in Canada or not, these would be something that I'd look at exploring. I guess I can start with Northern Harvest. This bottle actually is the expression that Jim Murray in 2016 said was the whiskey of the year. And so I went out and bought a bottle before it got scarce. And I've had other bottles since. Lots of people tell me they can tell the difference between the year that he gave it to us and since. I'm not sure I'm one of those people. I think you need a pretty good palate to tell the difference. But at any rate, Northern Harvest rye. In Canada, it's a good deal. It's usually between $30 and $35, sometimes less, but that's usually where it sits. So here are a few thoughts as I approach Northern Harvest rye. Well, outside, I'm getting quite a bit of sweetness on the nose. Caramel. But some fruits right away. Maybe it's because I'm outside. Maybe the cold's playing with the whiskey a bit, but fruitier than I would remember. Huh. Like almost a peach, pear more than peach. That's odd because when I look at my tasting notes, which I usually do before I shoot one of these, but sometimes I just take a moment. Sun's right. I'm back out in the front yard, which apparently my wife says is okay. So here I am on my own porch. And yeah. You know, Northern Harvest rye is a beautiful rye, really. Smooth, pretty silky on the tongue, a little bit of oil feel, but you know, it's got a nice level of sweetness. There is enough rye in there to keep you interesting. I don't know what the mix is, and I should look it up, and I usually do after I've shot this, which is funny. But today is fruity. Pretty smooth on the palate. There's a little bit of rye bite. Not a terrible amount. But there's layers of flavor in there. There's a lot going on in this rye, and for that price, I can see why it's got a lot of acclaim. It's not my favorite rye, but it's good. It's really quite good. So that's Northern Harvest. I'm there on the finish, I should say. The finish, then I do find their wood notes. You know, I find even a bit of char or smoke comes in on Northern Harvest. And that's as I back away from it a little bit. So that's nice. So coming over to Lot 40, just as I picked a Northern Harvest rye this is actually the bottle of the batch that Jim Murray did back in 2016. I thought I'd pick out not the green label, but the yellow label, 2012. Re-release, I suppose, but I like to think of it as the release of Lot 40. You know, it's probably a little darker in color, but I don't know if they color this. They might. This is a copper pot, 100% rye, lot 40. So, you know, the color is nice, but I can't say it's all from the aging. I do know that this one, the 2012, as I've said in previous releases or videos, that it's 90% unmalted and 10% malted. And the reason why they started that way is to get the enzymes right from the malted grain, the malted rye, to open up the sugars in the unmalted. Now when they've moved to the 100%, the green label, the 100% unmalted, they just add enzymes to open it up. And I'm told that actually there's a little less funk. I don't know what that is, but people talk about it being funky from malted. You know, on the nose it's quite a bit spicier. Different kind of sweetness. You know, not that kind of fruity, deeper fruity, but lighter fruity. I get a little more wood notes on the nose too. Lot 40 always feels very alive to me. It's just, I think I could nose Lot 40 all day long. Oh, and then now there's some deep fruits that I wasn't getting earlier. A little bit of candy sweetness. Oh, really, you know, if you haven't had Lot 40 yet, I don't know where you're living. But it's, well, of course, if you don't like rye, right? And if you don't like spicy and fruity whiskey, and you want more of a smooth, you know, just a really smooth drink, this is a little bit more interesting. And I find the peppery notes, my tongue tingles a bit more in Lot 40. Not as smooth as the Northern Harvest. Not as silky, not as coating. The alcohol is a little more forward in the finish, a little stronger, a little warmer hug. Oh, I don't know what they're, I know, but I haven't checked. So the Northern Harvest is a 45%, and the Lot 40 is a 43%. So they're both over the 40% minimum. I don't know how long they've been aged. I think I've said before, Lot 40, I think, is probably around 6 years. Northern Harvest, I have no information. So, Lot 40, today there's almost a bitter note, which I actually often get with different ryes. I haven't made note of that before, but today it's a little bitter. I'll reset my nose. I don't know if this is the right thing to do. This is coffee. I'm not drinking it. But I thought maybe if I try a different scent, I'm going to go back and forth. Yeah, it's strange today that Northern Harvest, honestly, pear peaches coming through like crazy. And I don't think I made note of that in my previous reviews. So that's really interesting. Definitely smoother in the palate. You know, I can feel the heat coming through. 45%. I'm gonna say overall sweeter, but it's a different sweetness. Today it's a peaches sweetness. This is a deeper bouquet. A little more, not sure what to say. It's not flowers, but right away spicier on the nose. Absolutely. And even though there's good sweetness in there, today it's not as sweet. But the peppery notes are stronger. The wood notes are stronger. The finish is more alive. I feel I can kind of chew on it, taste it a little bit longer. But really, I'm actually today sitting on this porch. I am surprised at how much I like Northern Harvest Rye. In the past, I've always rated Lot 40 higher than Northern Harvest Rye. Just saying. Yeah. Okay. So putting a star value on these is really hit and miss. It's so palate dependent. That's always the same with all whiskeys. But I think these are both put together very well. I would say Northern Harvest Rye for me is 4 stars. It's really good. And you know, you could pour this for almost anyone. It's more peppery and a little less sweet, even though today I've been talking about its sugars, I think, than their regular Crown Royal, though I haven't had that in a long time. So it might wake up some people. They might go, oh, that's a little spicy on the tongue or something. But it's still Crown Royal. It's still very smooth. They work very hard, I think, at creating a very welcoming bouquet. So that's 4 stars. Lot 40 to me is 4.5. I mean, really, it's probably a 5-star whiskey, but for me today, at least, it's 4.5. So this will be a 4.5 stars. I still give it the nod. I still give it the over Crown Royal. There's something more in the nose, maybe a few more baking spices, and there's a little more wood forward in the notes, in the palate. So, and there's some fruity tones in there too. I can't catch the fruit I want to identify with it today. Light cherry maybe, but it's not a cherry forward. Like there's some whiskeys there, you think they've floated something in there, but no. This is, but it's definitely more to it in the mouth. There's more spices, more hug from the alcohol, but it's slightly bitter today. I don't know why, but normally I don't find that at all. So that'd be my review, right? On a great Canadian day like today when there's snow, the Northern Harvest Rye can't go wrong. Definitely 4 stars or better. And Jim Murray's whiskey of the entire year in 2016. And Lot 40, this is the 2012. I really got to break out the green label and do a head-to-head to see if I can pick up any differences. I put it 4.5 today. But on any given day, of course, those reviews fluctuate a lot. I'd recommend either one of them. If you haven't tried either one of them, I think they're both a must try. Only if you ever want to talk whiskey with anyone. Hopefully they've tried these too, and you can talk about the differences that you find in them and make that an interesting conversation. So that's my review. Don't really have any local notes today. Just wanted to catch the sunshine mixed in with the snow, and I thought, I'll do a quick Canadian rye comparison. So compared to my last rye comparison, I would say both of these are better offerings. I know I would take argument with some people really like that Canadian Club 100%. I mean, like bigger people that have more reputation than me. But I find a little more going on in both of these here. Actually, I find a little more flavor notes, a little more layering than either of those. So I would say if I'm going up in flight, these would be a flight up. In a comparison, if I was having a friend over, I might shoot those last two, and then I might go to these two, and then we'll see where I go next. Thanks for joining me. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with friends. I think this conversation online is always richer with the more people having it. I'm John. I'm your whiskey neighbor, and cheers. Drink responsibly.